Welcome to Realiteen Talks. My name is Gary McGuey, high school practice leader for FranklinCovey Education. Each week, we're here to take on the real challenges of teen life. Let's talk. Our topic this week, pandemic isolation. Let's meet our Realiteen panel and listen to their thoughts. Team, let's welcome Divine, Jorge, and Nyla. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. So when we hear the word pandemic isolation, it sounds pretty serious. I mean, first of all, how do we define pandemic isolation, and is it real in your world?
It's definitely real. I don't think I've had as many mental breakdowns as I've had this past month in the rest of my life. I mean, it does sound serious, and it is, but for me, the way I would define it is just feeling in a space where there's not many things you can do or people you can reach out to, which there's always people there and always people who are there to listen, but not being able to see them or see their whole face just kind of has an effect on our brain. And I think it's rooted deep in psychology. And of course, I'm in high school, so I wouldn't be sure about that. But there's just something about, even if we did get to go to school for a little bit, now it's shut down for us. Whenever I was there, I had to stay 6 feet away and I could not see a smile. I couldn't see an expression. Even if I made somebody laugh, I only knew because I heard the sound. So that's definitely what it's been for me, just that sense of being alone, even if I am with somebody.
Like Divine said, pandemic isolation is one of the realest topics we could probably talk about here in the midst of our human history. You know, being at home and being away from people we might love and people we've interacted with for the last couple of years, it feels different. And for a lot of us, it's affecting us. I know for me, like the beginning, I was like, oh my goodness, I'll just see them in 2 weeks. It'll be fine. I didn't think much of it. But those 2 weeks now turned into a couple of months. So a lot of people are feeling the effects of that isolation, and how Divine said, not being able to see a smile, having to stay away 6 feet from people, like only knowing if someone's laughing at your joke, if they actually you heard it laughing. So it's definitely a real topic, and, it's affecting mental health, emotional health, mental well-being. It's a pretty serious topic.
Jorge, I haven't heard a person laugh at my joke in about 7 years, so I'm okay with you on that. So, just kidding. All right.
I think pandemic isolation now versus when this first happened, so I'm saying December versus March, it's more of I think it hits a little bit harder. Now, I say that, let's just tie it to what Jorge was saying. He thought it was going to be 2 weeks and how the 2 weeks turned into over 6 months, right? So now, though, we have been put in school, things have opened up, and then they were taken away again, right? So one, we've had a classic give and take, right? Gives it to you, then they take it back. So that's one thing, and that's really hard, especially as us teens, we're developing. But I mean, anybody, it can be hard. Another thing, Divine and Jorge both said, when we are in school, we're far away from people, so it feels like we're surrounded and we're so together, but mentally we're by ourselves. So it's this type of pandemic isolation, and that pandemic isolation right now is definitely mental more than anything, because we still are around people more than we were before. But now it's you know what I mean? We're definitely alone mentally, if that makes sense. I don't know.
What is some evidence that someone's experienced pandemic isolation?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's just all around us. There is that academic aspect of, for me, it's definitely been very, very hard not being able to ask my teachers a question right when I have the question. Yeah, we could have a video they sent to us, but writing it down and waiting until later, it just feels different than having an explanation in class that you get back. And, I'm a visual learner, so that definitely has affected me, as well as not being able to see my friends as often. We had homecoming the other day, and I was on homecoming court, but it was I look out to the stands and it's less people than would have been there last year. And there's stuff like that. We're supposed to have our winter formal and we never got to have it. There's just little things that we may have not thought of much last year, but now they're really affecting us because we have them taken away, or it's less than it would have been.
I agree with Divine. A lot of people are feeling it in the effects of missed events, missed milestones, or missed goals. There's a lot that this pandemic has really taken away from people. Like Nyla said, it's kind of a given and, oh, sorry, not now, not anymore. And some people it's affecting them a lot, mentally, emotionally, and some people can't grasp why now, why this year, why me. And I feel like that isolation of events from families and friends is making a lot of people more irritable. It's making them angrier. It's making them even feel emotions they would have never felt otherwise. And it's brought problems from inside that they were once hiding, and now they don't have anyone else to take it out on, so they take it out on themselves. And unfortunately, that's the reality of it all. It's very sad, and this pandemic has caused that.
I mean, it's so that what Divine and Jorge have said, it kind of puts it into a nutshell. Personally, I think that it's just something, it's almost hard to wrap your mind around just because it's been going on for so long, yet so short. But like in this short time for like a good group of teens, we are kind of missing out on milestones. Like, I turned 16 in October, and so I know Divine turned 16 in September, and I didn't get to have a big sweet 16 like I planned on having a year ago, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things that we're missing out on and we don't get to do. And I feel like personally I'm missing out on a lot of like things that teens do. I feel like my teen years are going down the drain, because I'm driving now, but I can't do anything with it, So it's just a lot of things like that. I feel like it's just a lot of mental.
So one of my favorite quotes is, failure is not an option, right? And as we're having these real talks, and I'm sensing that most, and not just teenagers too, but adults too are feeling this way, right? It's probably across the board. It's not like a small percent of people are feeling this. It's obviously some people are, the depression, mental health issues, are soaring. We're hearing that. If you were to come to providing solutions, suggestions, support for our listeners, what would you suggest?
Well, that I was actually gonna say, like with what Jorge was saying, that idea of why me, why now, why, and that goes along with what you're saying with suggestions. I definitely did get in a rut, especially in the middle of quarantine, before school and everything like that. And when school started, just the idea of missed opportunities or things that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do. But at the same time, there's so many more things that have opened because of this. I'm lucky enough that my financial situation hasn't been completely ruined by this pandemic. So I've had time to sit back and think, is this what I want to do with my life? To really think where I'm going. Because now we have so much more time on our hands. We have time to think, how do we feel? I know about what I'm doing. Happy. I was just going through the motions. And so now we have this time to find ourselves. And I think it's really just the mindset that you give yourself. If you tell yourself that I can use this productively, like you said, failure is not an option. So instead of failure, what else can I do? And so that's what I've really been telling myself. If I'm sad about this class, or if I didn't do good on this, or I'm not getting an email about this, I just sit back and think, what can this event or whatever is happening, how can I take this and make it positive or use it in a better way?
I like that. Instead of saying, why me, you're almost defining your why in a way, right? I like that.
I want to add on to what Divine was saying, the why me, why now, and how she explained. Take those moments and find and make the best of it. Situation right now may not be the best in the glimpse of time right now, but take these moments you have to yourself and for yourself and make the best of them. Because if you sit back and let the world rock you and bring you down, it's going to do nothing for your situation. You know, one of the things they tell entrepreneurs a lot is take your idea and find a solution to it. Even if it sounds crazy, try it out. You know, and onto the topic of mental health too, how Gary had said, there are so many people that love you and care for you and want to be there for you. Reach out. So many people, even before this pandemic started, were scared to share their feelings, their thoughts, and how they really felt about a situation. You know, reach out to people, reach out to adults, maybe your friends. People love you and they want to help you, but you have to let them know. You can't just, even in 2020, we don't like to assume things. So try to reach out to them, and I'm sure that they would help you.
So you can't go through something that we're not together all the time. If I was sad at school, you could see me, but now I'm on a computer and I'm not seeing you. So especially having those friends that you go to for, maybe it's a certain thing, like I'm an immigrant. So I have my friends who are going through the same thing as me as immigrants. And if I have a problem with that, I go to them. Or for example, with Nyla, if I have anything that's bothering me academically, I sent her, I think a 5-minute video of me crying about something that's related to school. And her response helped me get through that. So what he's saying is definitely, it's important to reach out to people and to get the help that you need from them.
Yes, for sure. I think that, you know, Divine and Jorge basically took the words right out of my mouth. Like right now, it's so easy to go through things alone because not only are we, you know, through a computer screen, so you can't really see people like physically, but I think that we assume that everybody's going through it, and so everybody's like dealing with it. But some feelings not everybody's having. We can't necessarily, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is we can't, like Jorge was saying, we can't assume that everybody's feeling the same thing because what you're feeling could be worse than what others are feeling. Do you know what I mean? So don't go through this alone. Don't be shy to talk to people. Let others know that you're feeling this way because they can relate and they can help you get through it the same way that they probably needed to get through it too. And who knows how you're feeling, someone else could actually be feeling, and you guys could talk about that, but you won't know until you open up and talk about it and reach out to people around you because we're all going through it. Maybe not in the same way, but they could at least relate.
I think we were supposed to have this call today because I was feeling a little bit, down a little bit today too. And just listening to you guys was a great reminder. I almost feel like instead of going from why me, go to why not. So thank you, my brilliant friends. That was great. I appreciate your wisdom as always. And we are going to continue this, and we'll see you guys next episode. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Stay safe. Thanks, everybody.
Team, let's summarize today's discussion. So it's Realiteen check time. With regards to pandemic isolation, the team has shared that we are missing our connections with our peers, with our teachers, family members. This past year has felt different and it's impacted our mental health. Secondly, the team talked about the need to express our feelings with someone we can trust. Don't keep these feelings within. We need to name them and express them. Then lastly, we heard about using this gift of time wisely. Growth mindset as opposed to fixed mindset. Instead of why me, look for opportunities to connect to our deeper why, being more intentional. Moving forward from today's episode, let's challenge one another to truly stop and reflect on our mission, on our why. This keeps us moving in a positive direction with purpose and passion. We need to stay within our circle of influence and spend time and energy on things that we presently have influence over. One, our attitude, choices, and behaviors. As our panel so brilliantly articulated, let's move from why me to why not. It's within all of us. Until next time, let's talk. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to Realiteen Talks on YouTube, Apple, or Spotify, and leave a review or comment. We'd love to hear from you.